Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into the world of business ethics. And we're going to see why just following the law, well, it's really just the starting point. We'll explore how the choices made, from the huge corporate boardroom all the way down to your own desk, can be the difference between a business that's just legal and one that's truly good.
So let's kick things off with a really important idea. The law is the floor, not the ceiling. The biggest corporate disasters, they often happen in that murky gray area between what's technically allowed and what's actually the right thing to do. Just look at the fallout here from some of these massive ethical failures. Take Enron. Their executives used these tricky accounting loopholes to hide billions in debt. It made the company look incredibly profitable, all while they were quietly selling off their own stock. And the result? The company completely collapsed. Thousands of employees lost their jobs and their pensions, and investors were out more than $74 billion. Or think about Volkswagen. They literally programmed their engines with defeat devices to cheat on emissions tests. This wasn't some accident. It was a deliberate choice that impacted 11 million cars and ended up costing the company over $25 billion in fines alone.
And that brings us to the big question, right? In many of these cases, the companies argued that, at least for a while, their actions were within the letter of the law. But were they right? Of course not. And that's exactly where ethics comes in. It's the moral code that's supposed to guide us when the law books just don't have a clear-cut answer.
So what do we even mean by ethics? Well, to put it simply, they're the standards of moral behavior that society as a whole accepts as right versus wrong. This isn't just about what you or I think. It's about our collective sense of fairness, of honesty, of integrity. You could even say these are the unwritten rules that kind of hold our entire economic system together.
And this is where we need to draw a really clear line. Legality is pretty black and white, right? It's narrow, it's specific. You either broke a written law or you didn't. But ethics, that's a whole different ballgame. It's much broader. It's all about our underlying moral principles. You can do something that is perfectly legal, but at the same time, completely and totally unethical. Think of it this way. Laws tell you what you must do, while ethics tell you what you should do. Okay, so this all sounds very big and corporate, but how does it apply to us? Let's bring this down from the C-suite right to our own daily lives, because ethics isn't just for CEOs. It really starts with each and every one of us. Come on, we've all been there. You're in a situation at work or maybe just in life, and something about it it doesn't feel right. Maybe it's a tiny decision, maybe it's a huge one. How are you supposed to navigate that when there isn't a clear rule book to follow? Well, here's a simple but honestly an incredibly powerful tool you can use. The next time you're facing one of those tricky ethical dilemmas, just ask yourself these 3 questions. First, is it legal? Second, is it balanced? And third, how will it make me feel?
Let's break that down real quick. Is it legal? That's your first checkpoint. If what you're about to do violates a law or even just a company policy, the answer is a hard stop. Then, is it balanced? This is all about fairness. Is this a win-win situation, or are you about to win at someone else's expense? A truly ethical action should feel fair to everyone involved. And finally, my favorite, how will it make me feel? This is what some people call the front page test. Would you be proud to see your decision with your name on it splashed across the evening news? Could you explain it to your family without feeling weird? If you feel that little knot of shame or unease in your stomach, that's a huge red flag. Now, let's scale that way of thinking up. What happens when it's not just one person, but an entire organization that starts asking these kinds of questions? Well, its focus starts to shift from just making a profit to actively trying to do some good in the world. This is the big idea behind something called corporate social responsibility, or CSR. It's the principle that a business's job isn't just to make money for its owners and shareholders. It also has a real responsibility for the welfare of society as a whole. Now, this is a pretty big debate. On one side, you have the famous economist Milton Friedman. He argued that the only social responsibility of a business is to increase its profits, period. But on the other side, you've got the stakeholder view. This says that for a business to actually succeed in the long run, it has to create value for everyone it touches, its employees, its customers, its suppliers, and the community it operates in. So, what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, CSL can take a lot of different forms. You've got corporate philanthropy, that's things like charitable donations. There are social initiatives, where a company uses what it's good at to help solve social problems. You have corporate responsibility, which covers everything from how you treat your workers to your environmental impact. And then there's corporate policy, which is when a company takes a public stand on important social issues. And you really do see this stuff everywhere. The Lego Group has promised to make all of its packaging sustainable by 2025.
General Electric has poured billions into developing clean technologies like wind turbines, and MasterCard created a program to get aid to charities faster in a crisis. These aren't just about the bottom line, they show a real commitment to society.
All of this brings us to a really fundamental question. If a business isn't just there to serve its owners, then who exactly is it responsible to?
The answer is its stakeholders. And that's a wide net. It means customers who have a right to safe products and honest information. It means investors who are owed ethical and transparent financial management. It means employees who deserve to be treated fairly and have job security. And it means society at large, which depends on businesses to create wealth and help promote social justice. Okay, but if success is about more than just profit, how in the world do we measure it? This is where a really interesting framework is becoming more and more popular: the triple bottom line.
The triple bottom line argues that a company's true success has to be measured across three different dimensions. First, there's profit, the traditional financial health of the company. Then, people, its social impact, how it treats its employees and its community. And finally, planet, its environmental footprint and its commitment to sustainability. It's a much more complete picture of what it means to be a successful company in the 21st century.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. In this incredibly complex and interconnected world we live in, what is the true bottom line? What's the ultimate measure of a company's success? Is it profit, its impact on people, or its stewardship of the planet? Or maybe the greatest challenge and the greatest ethical achievement of all is finding a way to serve all three at once.